We're back, we're back, we're back, we're back. We're back with another YouTube video. Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Cassidy. If you're new here, thanks so much for clicking on this video and watching. And if you're not new here, welcome back. Thanks so much for watching and supporting. I appreciate all of it. This video is about a week late because I filmed a video, actually a vlog, reading It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover, and then everything got deleted from my computer, and so I cried a lot and had a little bit of a breakdown, and now we're here, and I decided to not let that get me down. So instead, this video is going to be my reviews on two new romance books. We have It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover and The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. The Kiss Curse is the second book to the Ex-Hex, which I have another video on. So if you haven't read that book, you should go watch that video first and then come back and hear about this book, because there are going to be spoilers that, if you haven't read the Ex-Hex, won't really make sense, and I don't want to give anything away, and so you should go do that first. Also, if you haven't read It Starts With Us, you should read It Ends With Us first, because this is the sequel to It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, and I don't want to give anything away with that. So, yes, there are some oh my gosh, I sound like, oh, my dad would know this, the Wabbit, you know what I'm talking about? Bugs Bunny, or, anyways, there are some prerequisites, if you will, to watching this video. Let's get into it. The first book I read was It Starts With Us, so I read this about a week ago, obviously. That's when I did the vlog, and I wasn't too sure what I thought about this book going into it. I wasn't really going to read it. I didn't have any plans to read it until I saw everyone and their brother and mother and sister and so on and so forth reading this book on BookTube, Bookstagram, like everywhere. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to be a follower, and I'm also going to get this book, and I'm going to read it. And I have some mixed opinions on it. If you're watching this video, I'm going to assume that you have read the first books in each of these duos, but if not, this is the second book, as I said, to It Ends With Us. It Ends With Us is about Lily, who meets this guy, Ryle. Everything seems great until it's not, and we learn that he is abusive and she's in an abusive relationship, and one that she can't seem to get out of, but then she does. And it also follows Lily's journey with Atlas. Atlas is a longtime friend of hers, someone who he used to be homeless, and she kind of helped him and was there for him, and a friend when he needed someone during a really hard time in his life. And in It Ends With Us, he was really there for her when she needed someone the most in her life this time. And so it was kind of them coming together. At the end of It Ends With Us, Lily and Ryle do have a baby together, but when she has the baby, she tells Ryle that she doesn't want to be with him anymore and that they're going to separate. So It Starts With Us picks up 2 years after she has her baby and after they divorce, and it's actually pretty cool because there is a note inside, a Dear Reader letter from Colleen Hoover, where she talks about how she had no plans on writing a second book, and it wasn't until she had this like huge blow up on TikTok where everyone was reading specifically It Ends With Us and just loving it and asking her to write a second book, and to continue Lily and Atlas's journey together. So that's what she did. And she said, I just want to give a huge thank you to my fans. This book wouldn't be here without you guys. And so she wanted to provide just a lighter journey instead of the kind of dark one that was It Ends With Us. And so I appreciated that. I feel like It Starts With Us was really good. I'm not going to keep holding up that book because my arm's just going to get a little tired. So It Starts With Us, like I said, it starts 2 years after, when Lily and Atlas haven't talked since It Ends With Us ended. And they run into each other on the street going to work, and Atlas is like, you know what, like, text me when you get to work, I'd love to catch up. Lily's like, okay, I will. A couple hours goes by, she hasn't texted him yet. He's worried, you know, is she overthinking it? Is she gonna answer me? Is she not? She is thinking, I don't know what to do because I really want to reconnect with him, but if Ryle finds out that I'm talking to Atlas, he's gonna freak out. And I don't need that in my life right now, because even though they're not together, they don't live together, there's no relationship there at all besides co-parenting, they are still co-parenting, and so she doesn't want to deal with that. And there's also the fact that there's not a set custody agreement, or she doesn't have full custody of Emmy, their baby. If she were to take him to court, most likely she wouldn't get full custody, and he could possibly get full custody because there's no kind of proof that he abused her in the past, because Lily hadn't come forward when the abuse was happening to her, which is really unfortunate that kind of the court works that way. But regardless, she doesn't want anything to happen, and so she's kind of debating if she wants to reach out to him and try and rebuild this connection. They do end up reconnecting. There's this romantic spark that's kind of like never gone away, that they've always known is there, and so they both don't know what to do with that. Meanwhile, Ryle kind of knows that she's seeing someone and he's not happy about it, and that is kind of the gist of the book. I'm gonna be honest, like, while I was reading it, I was like, wow, this is really nice, this is really nice, this is really nice, and where's the kind of climax? Where's, like, the part where something goes wrong? You know what I mean? So we do see a little bit of that, but nothing huge. I do feel like It Starts With Us was just a better look into Atlas's life. It's alternating chapters between Lily's point of view and Atlas's point of view. And so in Atlas's point of view, you're learning more about his family. You're learning how he really became homeless and what his home situation was like. You also learn that he has a little brother that he never knew he had until literally present time while you're reading it. So that's a nice, you know, sweet character plot to the book. There's also, I've seen this all over TikTok, especially the first couple of days after It Starts With Us came out last week, and everyone was like really shitting on these letters that Colleen Hoover included in this book, and I was actually so confused what these letters were until I started reading the book. The first one is a Dear Ellen letter that Lily used to write in It Ends With Us, and while I was reading this book, I was like, I have no clue who Ellen is. Like, who is Ellen? So I looked it up, Dear Ellen letters, It Ends With Us, and completely forgot that Lily used to write letters to Ellen DeGeneres, which is such, like, a bizarre plotline on Colleen Hoover's part. Like, why did Lily write letters to Ellen DeGeneres? That's so bizarre. But anyways, those letters make a reappearance in It Starts With Us, and they don't stop. They keep going, and people on TikTok were saying, like, I'm so tired of these letters, I skip them, blah, blah, blah. And I completely agree. Like, they were just not even annoying. It's just like, another letter, here we go. But I will say that they did provide, like, some good context and some good background information. So, I mean, take it as you will. I guess you don't really have to read them. I did skip the one there's one at the end of the book, like the last 3 pages, and I was like, I'm done with this at this point. I can't do it. I get the gist. They're happy, cool, end of the book. It was a good book. I felt like, and like I said, Colleen Hoover literally did say that she wanted to provide a lighter reading experience, and she really did do that. I mean, there is a part in the book where Ryle, he's showing his abusive tendencies again, but nothing, I don't want to say nothing happens, because that's kind of taking away from the fact that he is still an abusive person. He is an abuser, but he doesn't actually physically harm Lily. And there's a part where, Ryle wants to fight Atlas, but that was like kind of the main climax, I guess, if you will, because other than that, it really was just Lily and Atlas being happy, which as characters, they deserve that. Both of them have had such a hard life, and they deserve just being happy together. And so I really did enjoy just reading them being happy, and I flew through the book. Like, it didn't take me long to finish it at all, and so obviously I was really enjoying it. I really liked it, but I just felt like in a normal book, when you have Lily and Atlas getting together, in a normal romance book, something would happen between Lily and Atlas where they'd have like a falling out or something, and then they'd get back together in the end and be happy and happily ever after. But that didn't really happen because they were always kind of just happy together. So that's interesting. I watched, I think it was in Steph Bohr's reading vlog of It Starts With Us, and she said it feels just like a really long epilogue to It Ends With Us, and I have to agree, that's kind of what it is. Do you have to read it? No. But it's a nice, light read. It didn't take me very long to get through, and so I think if you're looking just for a quick romance, just if you're in the mood for a romance, it's a good one. I liked it. And that's really all I have to say about it. And then after I finished It Starts With Us, I thought, it's almost Halloween. Actually, it is Halloween today. Happy Halloween. So I thought I needed a spooky romance. And so I got The Kiss Curse. And like I said, this is the second book to The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. I really, really enjoyed The Ex-Hex. I was so excited for The Kiss Curse to come out, and found this at Barnes & Noble after searching all over the store for it. So The Ex-Hex is about Vivi and Rise. Vivi is a witch who lives in a town where witches and regular humans kind of live together, but the humans don't know that they're living with witches. Vivi and her cousin Gwen, or it's Gwyn, which has me confused if it's Gwen or Gwyn. Gwen feels weird to me. Gwen. Anyways, Vivi and Gwen, that's what we're going with, put a curse on Vivi's ex-boyfriend by accident, and they think they're just joking around. As we later come to learn, magic is not something to be messed around with, and they actually do put a curse on him, and so it follows Vivi and her ex-boyfriend Rise, and then they end up getting together. Rise, his family, kind of the magic in this town comes from his family, and so he's a big name. Him and his brothers and his father are a big name in this town. The Kiss Curse follows Gwen and Rise's brother Wells, their love story. It's an enemies to lovers book. They hate each other at first. Gwen doesn't like him from years ago when they went to college together, and she doesn't like him because Wells didn't come to Vivi and Rise's wedding, and so she just kind of has this inevitable hate for him, and he moves back to the town to do something different with his life. He's tired of kind of listening to whatever his dad tells him to do, and so he comes back and opens up his own shop, which is in competition with Gwen's witchy shop that she has, and so they're competing against each other. Vivi and Rise are going on their honeymoon, And so Gwen is left to run the shop by herself because normally Vivi would help run it with her. When Vivi and Rise leave, they're like, are you going to be okay with Wells? Do we have to worry about you killing each other? And she's like, nope, I got it, don't worry. Well, turns out while Vivi and Rise are gone, Gwen starts noticing that she's losing her magical powers, her witch powers, and she doesn't know why. And so as her and Wells are getting closer and there's a romantic connection forming, Erin Sterling's books are so steamy. Oh my gosh. And tell me, look at this cute little innocent cover. You would never know. And it's steamy. Regardless of that, she notices that her powers are dwindling, and then it becomes none. She has no powers left. She has no clue what's happening. At the same time, someone that Gwen used to go to college with, who she was friends with in college, Morgan, she comes back into town. She's like, hey, what's up? Gwen is a little thrown off by it. She knows that Morgan got kicked out of college their senior year, and she doesn't know why, but she knows it wasn't for a good reason. And so her and Wells start digging into this because they think Morgan might have something to do with Gwen losing her powers. As it turns out, it's not from Morgan, although Morgan is a terrible witch. She's like using her witch abilities for bad magic, and you learn more about that as you read it. She ends up trying to use her magical witchy powers to take the blood out of people and use their powers, and it's a whole thing. It turns out that Wells is the reason that Gwen is losing her powers. So the X-Hex leaves off where Rise's family, because they're such a big name in this town, and they're such a big name because their family, their magic is what kind of was running the magic in this town, and they're the founders of this town. And it turns out that their ancestor, who claimed to be the founder, actually stole magic powers from Vivi's family and Gwen's family. And so they kind of retake that power, and now it's their magic going through the town. It turns out that in the Kiss Curse, when Wells decided to move to this town, his dad had given him a ring, and he thought that it was just a nice, I love you, son. Take this ring. Here's a family ring. I'm going to give this to you. And it turns out that ring was cursed, and it was putting a curse on Gwen and trying to steal her magic so that Wells' dad could have all of Gwen's power, and so that he could reclaim his power back onto this town. That's the reason she was losing all of her powers. I feel like there were like a few things that was just kind of glossed over in the book that I wish were expanded on, like the fact that when Gwen loses her powers and they realize that it's because of Wells and his dad, Wells disappears to try and go figure out what he can do to restore Gwen's magic. And everyone kind of collectively decides that it's kind of impossible for her to get her powers back. But then all of a sudden, Gwen herself just kind of like reinforces her powers, literally just by like thinking hard enough. Like, I want my powers. No one can take them away from me. And boom, her powers are back, which felt like that was a little bit glossed over. And then we get to the end of the book where her and Wells are kind of back in good terms, and they love each other, and Vivi and Rise get back from their honeymoon, and like everything's great again. And so that was like a little bit strange to me. But besides that, I genuinely really enjoyed this book. This was just a really, really cute Halloween-y love story. I really liked it. I think Erin Sterling's writing is just so like captivating, and the characters are just so likable. Even though Gwen and Wells hate each other in the beginning, you really like both of them. I think she just has a way of writing characters where they just feel believable. Like, even though it's some like witchy powers going on, and like that can seem unbelievable, the writing of the characters' personalities themselves just feels so real, where they each have their quirks and their certain personality traits that I just really, I love her writing, and it just sucks you in. I hope she comes out with more books. How did I not know she wrote The Wife Upstairs? I never actually read that book, but I'm going to now because I love her writing. So I think that wraps up the video. I just wanted to, again, after the whole fiasco with the vlog for It Starts With Us, I still wanted to talk about the book. And since I just finished reading The Kiss Curse, I thought I should include that in this video also. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. Please keep liking and commenting and subscribing. I appreciate everything. I'm just so grateful and cannot believe all of the support I've been getting for this channel. It's crazy, but I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.